Hey y'all, Pastor Jeremy here. Have you ever heard a really hard sermon? There's some sermons that make you say, Amen! And there's some sermons that make you say, Oh my, oh my. The book of James is a collection of hard sermons. James, the brother of Jesus and a pastor of the persecuted church in Jerusalem, doesn't pull any punches. If you're familiar with the book, you already know this. What you might have missed is that almost all of his 12 little sermonettes that make up the book are this sort of connect the dots game between the teachings of Jesus and the teaching of Proverbs. James reaches back into the Old Testament and retrieves Hebrew wisdom and finds its context renewed in the Sermon on the Mount and the parables of Jesus. It's really cool and really pointed. It's easy to say, oh my, when James calls your name. This Sunday, we'll be looking at a particularly pointed section where James says, there are only two ways to live. That's my preacher voice. There are only two ways to live. There are only two kinds of wisdom. There are only two ways of being in the world. One that comes from heaven and one that comes from hell. Last week, Felicia did a brilliant job of exploring sort of the introduction of Proverbs, the exposure of wisdom. If you were to read the Bible from left to right, you'd hit the book of Proverbs and you would encounter Lady Wisdom. And she would call to you and say, come, learn, read, study, follow me, listen to me. And then the Proverbs themselves would offer instruction and wisdom. You get to James, and James points us back towards Jesus and says, you better listen. So, this Sunday, I think we're going to have some fun, but we're also going to have a serious conversation about how do we know how to live in the world. I hope to see you tomorrow. Grace and peace.